Hello there, traveler. Welcome to the castle, or, I guess more accurately, Sleeping Sun by Mulkong. I'd like to share my thoughts about a book I've read, if you're willing to indulge a dragon. Thank you, traveler. Let's begin. The Quantity of Desire is a novel written by Payson R. Harris and is self-published. I really enjoyed this book and the way in which it sets up its characters as emotional beings first and foremost. It opens with how Chase feels as he is separated from his mother and dials in on making sure you realize he is a complex individual. This is in stark contrast to how the rest of the world perceives him at a glance, with being a minotaur as they immediately assume he is just a heartless monster. I'll admit it felt weird at first with how open and communicative the characters were about their own emotional states, but it grew on me to the point of being one of my favorite things about the book. I've read a lot of fantasy books, and even more fantasy adventure, and there's a moment where the author is trying to convince you that these characters that go adventuring together are actually really good friends and are a kind of second family. And most times, that doesn't really hit for me, but it worked in this book because of the way in which they interact. I believed it because the camaraderie was shown to me in the book. I also want to make a special note for Dalsarin's belief system and his focus on the sun. More than an intentional parallel to Chase's connection to his mother, it felt like a deeply personal piece of the book, and I could feel that come through in Dalsarin's mantra. And as someone who loves to use fire and fire-based imagery to indicate passion and the pursuance of life, it was good for me specifically. My biggest criticism is that there were scenes and moments where it didn't feel as though it flowed as naturally as I thought it could have. That is unfortunately a very vague way to describe what I was feeling, but I'm not sure I can get any closer to what felt off about some of the dialogue. That, and I feel as though a specific portion of the ending could have been handled slightly differently to better reflect Chase's growth as his own person. But that, in itself, is not a big nitpick, just something that came to me after processing the end of the book. Overall, if you're into fantasy adventure books, I'd say to give it a try. There's good LGBTQ+ representation and a charming story to be had if you do. Until next time, curl up with a good book and be kind to yourself.